The move to punish and ultimately exile Donald Trump and his allies continues today with Rudy Giuliani and the New York State Bar Association. If you don't know me, I'm Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. I'm a lawyer and online advocate of free speech. As such, we're going to be talking about some things today, and those words are not my own. When they're quoted to other people, I don't necessarily endorse or condemn these particular viewpoints, but I am reporting on them. You can tell me what you think about them down in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Let's get into this. All right, the New York State Bar Association may remove Rudy Giuliani after the Capitol riots. All right, bar associations vary state to state, and this gets confusing for people very quickly, so let me go ahead and get this out right away. The New York State Bar Association cannot discipline Rudy Giuliani or disbar him in any particular way. The Bar Association of New York is a voluntary organization. They are not connected with lawyer registration, with the right to practice, or with lawyer discipline, such as sanctions or suspensions. All right? These are different in different states. New York and Minnesota are similar in that our organizations are voluntary. Other states like Texas have mandatory membership, and in some states, that mandatory bar membership comes with a delegation to the bar to handle issues of attorney discipline. In New York, issues of attorney discipline are handled at the appellate division courts, and there is a special sort of process for that. This is not that. This is a professional organization with networking opportunities and other sorts of benefits that would be available to other professional organizations, all right? But the New York State Bar Association is talking about disassociating with Rudy Giuliani in a move that they are calling unprecedented. I want you to remember that, and also remember back to earlier this year when two Brooklyn attorneys firebombed a police cruiser and are facing federal charges and could face up to life in prison for that. But anyway, what are they after Rudy Giuliani over? What is it? What triggered it? Let's talk about that. That's the speech that Rudy gave on January 6th, 2021, right before the Capitol riots. Rudy is being accused of inciting the riot and calling for violence, specifically over his phrase, "Let's have trial by combat," which on its face might imply some sort of physical contest. However, I think in context, we'll see very quickly that that is not it. This is a transcript of the speech, and we're going to read from 2 minutes and 43 seconds, his paragraph that involves the line in question. He says, over the next 10 days, we get to see the machines that are crooked, the ballots that are fraudulent, and if we're wrong, we will be made fools of. But if we're right, a lot of them will go to jail. Let's have trial by combat. I'm willing to stake my reputation. The president is willing to stake his reputation on the fact that we're going to find criminality there. Look, YouTube, I'm not endorsing the words of Rudy Giuliani or the accusations that he makes. People can make up their own minds on that. That's not me. I'm quoting him, so chill out. Okay, that being said, let's look at the context of this. He's saying over the next 10 days, they get to see this evidence, right? The idea was floated by Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley of Missouri that when they opposed the Electoral College results, they could, as a compromise with the Democrats, ask for a 10-day bipartisan panel and investigation. This panel and investigation would allow everybody to review various evidence, to make inquiries to the states, and to get certification from the states on whether or not their electors were valid. This mirrors or is inspired by an 1877 panel for the same purpose in the election of Rutherford B. Hayes versus Tilden, when Hayes was ultimately prevailed after a similar 10-day panel. Now, this didn't happen. This was maybe a possibility, but once the Capitol Hill violence broke out, overall support for the challenges and contests to the slates of electors faded dramatically, and there was really no discussion of any sort of evidence or anything like that. It all dwindled out really fast once the Capitol was stormed. But that being the case, did Rudy Giuliani call for a physical trial by combat in this? No. No, of course he's talking about bringing competing sides of a discussion. That's the entire context of the speech. It's talking about criminal activities happening? Is he advocating for the overthrow of government? I don't know if you can advocate for the overthrow of government when the person who is the head of that government is right next to you, but maybe. I don't think that's what's going on here. I think Rudy Giuliani is being a little hyperbolic and a lot metaphorical with his trial by combat, but those are the words that the Bar Association is focusing on and everybody else. Now, is this legally incitement? We'll have to wait for the courts, but the short answer is probably not. Probably not, because it's not a direct call to actual violence that can imminently occur. Now, just because violence did imminently occur doesn't mean that this was a call to it, or that these words were the trigger, or that they were intended to be the trigger to incite violence. And I think that will be Rudy's defense to the New York State Bar Association and any possible criminal charges, although I think those criminal charges are unlikely because of how unlikely it is that they would succeed. But his defense will be, I was clearly speaking with an idiom, idiomatically speaking about trial by combat, suggesting that we should go to battle over the evidence that we have, that we've compiled, and that we believe is better than their evidence. That was the entire purpose of the speech, and there was no intent to actually incite violence. And for what it's worth, Rudy Giuliani has condemned the Capitol Hill violence very, very strongly, suggesting that it is the same type of criminal violence that he has been condemning and the left has not been condemning over the entirety of 2020. But again, tell me what you think down below in the comments. I would love to talk to you about it. And the links to these two, the article and the transcript, will be in the description. You can check them out for yourself. Have a good day. We'll talk soon. Peace. Peace.